Hi everyone. So today I want to talk about perfectionism and how this relates to masculine and feminine energy, how this is a result of trauma, and how this plays out in our lives. And I want to touch on this because partly how I'm feeling right now, and it's that there's a part of me that just doesn't want to be here. That is reluctant to create content, to be productive, to be seen, to be social, to be doing. And this is a part of me that is inconsistent. And we all have our own inconsistencies. We are not robots. We are creatures with cycles, with waves. We experience pulses on and off. And yet, we live in a society that really demands consistency and that really expects consistency. And consistency is a masculine trait. It is something that the conditioned world expects. And especially as a business owner, it is important that I show up consistently on social media, to be seen, to be giving to you, to be showing you that I'm here and that I'm reliable. But I experience waves in creativity, in inspiration, in productivity, and I have within me the consistent, natural ability to be there for my clients, but I don't have consistent creative energy that wants to be showing up and talking on podcasts and creating Instagram content. And if you've been following me for a while, this is a topic I've touched on more than once. And today I want to talk about how this relates to perfectionism and how this toxic masculine trait of consistency, perfection is demanded, and how it's something that we expect of ourselves. And we become perfectionists because there is some sort of trauma beneath that. There's some sort of trauma that we experienced and conditioning, painful experience that we had around being imperfect, around not being enough. So this boils down to our self-worth, our lack of self-love, our lack of self-acceptance. And that truly is the root of this perfectionism. So maybe when you were growing up, it's easy to use school as an example. Either your parents or your school teachers pressured you in a way, judged you in a way that was highly critical and uncomfortable and damaging to your sense of who you are and your sense of worthiness. Because the primary way in which we are all conditioned and that we are all traumatized is around our sense of self-worth. And if we do not believe that we are worthy, then we will try to construct the perfect external world, the perfect behavior, the perfect identity, the perfect body, so that we feel accepted and that we belong, so that we feel like we belong and feel worthy. So it really does come from this external place learning that things need to be perfect for us to be deserving of love and belonging. And this part of us, if I use myself as an example again, this part of me that is inconsistent and that doesn't want to show up consistently to create, like I was saying, to talk, to be seen. This is natural. This is a natural flow of what it means to be a human being. Not necessarily for all of us. We're all a little different. But this is natural. For creativity, for something like that, for inspiration, for things to say, to be inconsistent. And what goes along with that part of me is the fear that I'm not perfect. The fear of my inconsistency. The fear that I can't show up consistently. The fear that I might lose contact with all of you. The fear that whatever I might say is just not going to be good enough right now. And so this does come from a low self-worth place that we all have. And many of you may not know that that I can feel this fear of not being perfect every time I come to share any bit of content, anytime I come to share a video or speak or whatever, that there's this part of me that's a little bit perfectionist and is afraid that it's just not quite right. And is afraid that it's not going to make sense, or that it's not going to be well received, or that something's incorrect. And I'm sure, just like you, this comes from my conditioning and my past traumas. And yet, you'll notice that I'm here anyway. I do show up, and I do talk. I put myself in front of the screen. I share my words and I share my thoughts, no matter how imperfect they may be. No matter how imperfect I may be. And that's because this perfectionist part of me, this fearful, low self-worth part of me, is not always the part that is driving the bus. And that's the critical piece here, is that I may be just like you in that I have my fears and insecurities and my conditioning. I have those parts of me, but I do things afraid. And I'm sure you do too. Or maybe there are things that you think you can think of right now that you are areas in which you're stuck, things you want to be doing, but the fear is actually in the way. You're letting the fear drive. And this is a challenging thing to overcome. We can be experts when it comes to trauma and conditioning and human design and psychology and astrology and attachment theory. But if we aren't practicing, if we aren't being, if we aren't living and doing, embodying these new ways of being, then there's not actually any change taking place. It's easy for us to consume information, to listen to podcasts and and really inspire ourselves and understand and feel those internal shifts. But true healing around our self-worth and in regards to this perfectionism comes when we take small steps, we take action towards something that we know is right, towards something we want to try. And we walk forward with the fear and we do it anyway. We try it anyway. Because this fear of perfectionism, this fear that comes from perfectionism and this desire for perfectionism is something that really can keep us stuck. It can keep us from living dreams. It can keep us from having meaningful relationships. It can make poor decisions for us. And it can make us depressed. It can make us anxious. Because we are placing our self-worth in something external, or in our actions, or in our looks. And if those are imperfect by our definition or someone else's definition, then we suffer, and we suffer hard. So we do need to inspire ourselves. And this is one of the main parts that I play. Unless I've worked with you one-on-one and, you know, we've talked about practical things to do and you know, steps to take, action to put into your life, and ways to create change, then my primary relationship with you is I'm a spark. I'm just inspiration for you. So you can take this inspiration to expand your awareness of anything that I might be talking about at any point, if it does touch you in any way. And then there must be some action to follow it up. We have to do things. We really have to walk in a new direction. And we have to show ourselves that we are okay, that everything is okay, that we are safe, even if we mess up, even if we make mistakes. If things look imperfect, that's okay. It is not a reflection of our internal value, of our intrinsic value, of our worth. So I just wanted to bring these ideas here today in this very imperfect way, because I don't want to be stuck. I don't want you to be stuck. And this is a harmful narrative that we carry around. These are harmful behaviors that we carry around and that we expect of other people as well. And again, this stems from trauma, this stems from conditioning, this is the toxic masculine. And there are parts of us that are feminine. All of us, whether you're a man or a woman, or you're non-binary, doesn't matter. Gender, sex, doesn't matter. We all have masculine and feminine parts. And we're all animals. We all have inconsistent, imperfect parts of us. But really what we maybe need to do is redefine what perfect means. In the human design chart, there is an archetype that does specifically speak to the human pressure to perfect. And when we really boil that archetype down, it's the pressure to get rid of anything that gets in the way of beauty. Beauty in life. And this definition, the current definition, the current conditioning around what perfect is, gets in the way of beauty. So when we do become perfectionists, the lower expression, the lower vibration of that, it's constant fault finding. It's chronic dissatisfaction. It's nitpickiness. It's never feeling good enough. But in the higher expression of this archetype, it does look at what actually gets in the way of beauty. And it redefines perfect. So I wanted to come to you to share those thoughts in this imperfect way, or in this newly perfect way, if we're going to think about it like that. And if you needed to hear this, if you are swimming in some low self-worth stuff or perfectionism stuff, I hope this encourages you to give yourself a break and make mistakes. Mistakes are lessons. They don't mean you're a mistake. So, those are my thoughts for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate connection with all of you. And if you enjoy my YouTube videos, or if you enjoy my podcast or my content on Instagram, I would really appreciate it if you could share any of it with a friend. If you have anyone in mind that you think could benefit from any of the messages I share, I would really appreciate it if you could share. That is the best way that people find me, and I love connecting with more people who need any sort of inspiration and expansion and healing in their life in any aspect. So thank you to all of you who have already done that sort of thing, left me ratings and reviews, and support me in your various ways. It's really lovely to show up and to be honest with you all, and to teach from where I am, and to connect with you all from where I am, and to just be a part of this unique experience and this life. So thank you again, and I'll speak with you soon.